Hi everyone, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the power of infinitives. In this lesson, I'd like to highlight the infinitive and show you how you can use the infinitive to express a multitude of ideas in French. So let's go ahead and start with the definition. What the heck is an infinitive? An infinitive, very simply, is an unconjugated verb. Well, what is an unconjugated verb? An unconjugated verb simply does not have a subject. We don't know who's doing the action, and we don't have a time yet. We haven't decided if this is going to be past, present, or future. There's no verb tense or verb time, so to speak. Two examples of an infinitive are parler, to speak, and être. So infinitives just give you the information about the action or the state, just the basic information. But we don't know who's doing the action and when it's happening yet. You have to do something to the infinitive to activate them and unleash their true powers. I like to think of infinitives as a brick. A brick as a construction material by itself is not very useful, but when you start to do something with the bricks, you can create all kinds of things. The same with infinitives. By themselves, they just give you some basic information, but when you start to use them, you can create all different kinds of thoughts and ideas. They are extremely useful. They're like the Swiss Army knives or multi-tools of the language world. Something else you need to know about infinitives is they come in three different varieties in French. They will end in either er, like parler. They will end in ir, like dormir. And they also end in re, like apprendre. So we have these three different types, either er, ir, or re, and that's it. This is similar to Spanish, in which you have three different infinitive endings, ar, er, and ir. I do have a Spanish channel, by the way. The link is in the description for this video. Another thing that you might find helpful, if you didn't already know, is when we talk about conjugating verbs, verbs that end in er, we call that the first conjugation. Verbs that end in ir are commonly referred to as the second conjugation. Verbs that end in re are called the third conjugation. However, this can also include other irregular verbs that have the other endings. So you may have heard the terms first conjugation, second conjugation, third conjugation, and it has to do with the infinitives. In a minute, I'm going to show you how useful they are. Before that, I'm going to inundate you with some infinitives that you hopefully already know. Quiz yourself here. How do you say, for example, in French, to work? To work. Travailler, travailler. To eat. Manger. To walk. Marcher. To study. Étudier. To watch. Regarder. To think. Penser. To dance. Danser. To have dinner. Dîner. To have lunch. Déjeuner. To play. Jouer. To help. Aider. To swim. Nager. Just a few more. To go. Aller. To learn. Apprendre. To speak. Parler. To go out. Sortir. To sing. Chanter. To sleep. Dormir. Okay, so now the moment you've been waiting for. How are they useful? What can we do with these infinitives? Well, the first thing is you can actually conjugate the verb in the present tense, and that is extremely useful. Let's conjugate the verb aimer as an example. We started with aimer in lesson 72, so if you haven't seen that, I had several lessons on the verb aimer. I like, j'aime, you like, this is the informal you. Tu aimes, he likes. Il aime, she likes. Elle aime, you like, this is the formal you. Vous aimez, we like. Nous aimons, and they like. Ils aiment, elles aiment. Okay, so this is very useful. You can do a lot of things with this conjugated verb. It's extremely useful. But what I'd like to show you is how you can use infinitives with certain verbs, and one of them happens to be aimer. So the verb aimer is a doubly useful verb because you could use it by itself to say things, for example, like I like cats, j'aime les chats, something like that. You can use aimer with a noun. But another very useful thing that you can do with the verb aimer is you can use the verb aimer, a conjugated form of the verb of aimer, with an infinitive to express the idea that you like to do something or that someone else likes to do something. This is it. Let's unleash the power of infinitives, the moment you've been waiting for. So this is another way in which infinitives are very useful. You can take a conjugated form of the verb aimer, and it can be followed by an infinitive to express the idea that you like to do something or that someone else likes to do something. With the information that you see here on the screen, you can combine something that's on the left with something that's on the right to create an individual thought or idea. Notice the 42, by combining the elements on the left and the right, if you do the math, you can say at least 42 different things. And it's actually more than that, because if you consider the fact that j'aime can mean I like or I do like, then you have more than just 42. So let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. I like to work. J'aime travailler. I like to eat. J'aime manger. I like to walk. J'aime marcher. I like to sing. J'aime chanter. I like to watch TV. J'aime regarder la télé. I like to think. J'aime penser. Tu aimes, you like. You like to work. Tu aimes travailler. You like to eat. Tu aimes manger. You like to walk. Tu aimes marcher. You like to sing. Tu aimes chanter. You like to watch TV. Tu aimes regarder la télé. You like to think. Tu aimes penser. He likes. Il aime. He likes to work. Il aime travailler. He likes to eat. Il aime manger. He likes to walk. Il aime marcher. He likes to sing. Il aime chanter. He likes to watch TV. Il aime regarder la télé. He likes to think. Il aime penser. She likes, elle aime. She likes to work. Elle aime travailler. She likes to eat. Elle aime manger. She likes to walk. Elle aime marcher. She likes to sing. Elle aime chanter. She likes to watch TV. Elle aime regarder la télé. She likes to think. Elle aime penser. You like, this is the formal you. Vous aimez. You like to work. Vous aimez travailler. You like to eat. Vous aimez manger. You like to walk. Vous aimez marcher. You like to sing. Vous aimez chanter. You like to watch TV. Vous aimez regarder la télé. You like to think. Vous aimez penser. We like, nous aimons. We like to work. Nous aimons travailler. We like to eat. Nous aimons manger. We like to walk. nous aimons marcher. We like to sing, nous aimons chanter. We like to watch TV, nous aimons regarder la télé. We like to think, nous aimons penser. They like, ils aiment or elles aiment. They like to work, ils aiment travailler, elles aiment travailler. They like to eat, ils aiment manger, elles aiment manger. They like to walk, ils aiment marcher, elles aiment marcher. They like to sing, ils aiment chanter, elles aiment chanter. They like to watch TV, ils aiment regarder la télé, elles aiment regarder la télé. They like to think, ils aiment penser, elles aiment penser. And there you have it, at least 42 different things that you can say with the infinitives and a conjugated verb like aimer. Remember that you can only do this with certain verbs like aimer. There are others, and those will be topics of future lessons. To finish off, a little quiz I have for you. Can you tell me the answer before I show you the answer? Very simple. Comment dit-on? En français, I like to work. How do you say in French, I like to work? I like to work. J'aime travailler. J'aime travailler. You like to eat, using tu, the informal you. Tu aimes manger. Tu aimes manger. You like to eat. He likes to watch TV. Il aime regarder la télé. She likes to study. Elle aime étudier. We like to dance. Nous aimons danser. Remember, you can also express this idea with on. On aime danser, although on aime danser can also mean other things besides we like to dance. Almost done with the quiz here. How do you say you like to sing using vous, the formal you? Vous aimez chanter. Vous aimez chanter. Vous aimez chanter. They like to swim. Ils aiment nager. Ils aiment nager. Or, elles aiment nager. Elles aiment nager. So remember, the point of the lesson is you can use some special verbs like aimer, a conjugated form of that verb, and an infinitive to express an unlimited amount of ideas. You're really only limited by the amount of infinitives that you know. So my advice is, if you're a beginner, if you're learning French, learn as many infinitives as possible. That will really increase your ability to express ideas in French, especially if you use those infinitives with special verbs like aimer. That's it for this lesson. Thanks so much for watching. If you found it helpful, I would appreciate it very much if you'd give it a like. To continue learning French and go on to another lesson, click on the video that appears here on your screen. See you soon. À bientôt.